Warning, this video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and welcome to the week, welcome to Monday. I wanted to start with a anecdotal piece of evidence that I experienced this morning when I was walking the dog. There's an old boy I run into from time to time. We stop and chat. I must have had numerous conversations, maybe upwards of 100 conversations with this bloke. And today was the third time he had asked me about the stock market. The first time, he said, what do you do for a living? I told him. The second time was many, many months later, and he said, how's the markets doing? And I said, yep, good. And that was pretty much that. And this morning, I run into him, and he says, how's the stock market doing? I said, yeah, it's great, thanks. And then he follows it up with, know anything about those Bitcoins then? So, of course, I said, yeah, I know a little bit about Bitcoin. Why is that? And he proceeded to tell me that his 22 and 25-year-old grandson, over the past few weeks, when they visit him, apparently they have been obsessing over Bitcoin. They've been showing him their Bitcoin wallets and the 100-odd quid of Bitcoin that they've bought that's gone up. So maybe it's nothing and maybe it's not nothing. I'll let you be the judge, but I thought I would share that with you since that was kind of interesting to me. Just before we hop into today's episode, there's a link on Twitter to the podcast, to the conversation I had with CPM and Cobra Stacker over the weekend. If I do say so myself, this was a fantastic conversation. So if you want to check out that conversation that we had, you can go to the What podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe. 131 subscribers. Let's go. Things growing nice and quick. So do go and check that out. It contains a whole heap of things, and I think you're going to like it. Other than that, as I said, welcome to the week. Welcome to Monday. We just saw on Friday 300 million liquidated from cryptocurrency in just 60 minutes, okay? So again, I sit here and say, until people stop betting the farm, until people learn how to manage risk, or until they run out of money, we're just going to keep doing this. I was also noticing over the weekend that right on schedule, we're seeing more and more of the bearish calls come out. I was saying throughout the week that as we approach the end of the daily cycle for the stock market, as we start to have a decline into an expected cycle low for the stock market, I said we would also expect the bears, the I told you so gang, the double top gang, all to come out in full force. I also said we should expect to see many, many top callers, many, many bears, many, many I told you so's. And right on schedule, here they are, right? 5 to 7K calls with the top already being in. Over in the stock market, you can see people are speculating that that indeed is the top, just like 2008, okay? So this is 2024 on the left, of course. Is that the top? Is what comes next something like this? I don't think so personally. I think until morale improves, the beatings will continue. And by that, I mean, until such time as everyone is bullish on the stock market, we will continue to light up the shorts and the bears from a time component. I am not in the camp of people that thinks this thing goes on forever. I do not believe Raoul Paul and his up-only liquiditists type approach. As always, I'm open to being proven wrong. I think what we probably got is a situation more like this. I think that's probably what this is. I think we've had the little shakeout, and what we've got is one final squeeze, then a top. Like I've been saying over and over again, July into August is my expected top time frame. If that ends up being invalidated and this thing runs for a few more months beyond that, I will be more than happy with that. That's not at all a problem to me. My only real concern is, can I get out and flip short near the top? That's my only real concern. It's not like I'm trying to gain clout or be able to come back and say, I told you so, I got the month right. That's not what this is. And actually, I would rather Raoul Paul is right and we do go up only for another 18 months because it would make my job as a dip buyer quite a lot easier. So we're going to find out as it stands, and as you're going to see in a minute, I can't get away from the fact that the writing seems to be on the wall. The setup, I think, like I said, is similar to this. I think there's one final squeeze and then is GG's. So we're going to find out, as always, as ever, open to every possible outcome. Certainly not discrediting this, certainly not saying that this is impossible. But what I am saying is this is, in my humble opinion, at least for now, not what we have in play. Over in the world of Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin currently has a larger market cap than the top 3 banks in the world combined. So let that sink in. Okay, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things. Meanwhile, we've got hedge funds shorting Bitcoin futures in a big way. Likely what this is them buying the spot Bitcoin ETF and then shorting the thing and collecting the spread, collecting the fees in between. But the question I wanted to ask you is, at some point, does this have to be unwound? And of course, when you unwind a short, what you're forced to do is cover the short, which means buy to close the position. So are we going to see the mother of all short squeezes in the not too distant future? Or is this thing just going to keep accelerating this way? Okay. And while a bunch of people are out here calling tops, as is totally expected for this time in the cycle, keep in mind, not only is the stock market due its cycle low, but Bitcoin is right around a potential half cycle low time frame. And we've got CPI on Wednesday. Okay, so some games, some volatility as always. But whilst all of that is occurring, whilst we've got people scared, whilst we've got people calling tops, under the hood, okay, as per this orange line right here, we've got whales buying like never before. So do you want to bet against the whales? Personally, I do not. Thus, long and strong, see what the market will give. And at the same time as whales are increasing their positions, the long-term holders, which is this orange graph below the price in black, and to be clear, this is supply last active a year ago, okay? So we're defining in this context long-term holders as people that have held for at least a year. They are selling into this pump. They are selling into the all-time high zone, which you might interpret as bad initially, except when you look back at prior times this happened, okay, you can see Bitcoin changes hands and then it's ready for its leg higher every single time. So does it tell us to be open to seeing something like this occur and Bitcoin about to go full send any minute now? Again, I think we continue to look at these charts as objectively as possible. And in hindsight, if this is what occurs, then will we be able to look left and say that was pretty obvious? I think we will. And there's been an idea of late that despite all of the buying in the ETFs, despite all of the inflows, the price is somehow being suppressed. Whether it is through the future shorting, whether that is through the long-term holders selling, whether it's through the liquidations, a combination of all of these things, it has been begging the question, and I've been asking this very question myself, why is it that despite these massive inflows in the ETFs, the price is not doing anything? We're still range-bound, we're still sideways. As I said, it's probably a combination of all of those things, but if we look at this right here, okay, the Bitcoin price and the ETF fund flows are actually still tracking just fine. So take a look at this. This is the ETF flows in light blue, and here's the Bitcoin price. And as you can see at the hard right edge, ETFs creep up, price is slowly but surely creeping up. So perhaps what we can say is so long as ETF fund flows continue, so will the price. Maybe we're all just getting a little impatient. I know I am. But remember, Bitcoin likes to do a whole heap of nothing for most of its life. And then in just a few weeks, it likes to double or even triple in price. So we're going to find out soon enough. For now, I still remain cautiously optimistic until we start to see some technical breakdowns. And as per the weekend's deep dive, I still can't get away from the fact that under the hood, it looks like a recession is imminent. Whether that is weeks, whether that is months, whether that is Q1 of next year, or as late as 18 months like Raoul Paul and the Liquiditist gang think, it does seem to me like a recession is probably coming, and I am in the camp of people that thinks it's coming sooner rather than later. If we take a look at this, okay, this is the unemployment rate in blue crossing above the moving average, just like we saw in all prior instances that preceded recessions. And the bottom here is rate of change. You'll notice back above the signal line, back above the signal line, back above the signal here, and here at the hard right edge, it's crossing above. Okay, so it tells me at least to keep an open mind about seeing that rate of change spike violently, seeing this spike violently. And of course, if that happens and people lose their jobs, how are they going to pay their mortgages? How are they going to service their debt? You know the deal, right? Recession time is coming, in my humble opinion. And I think this is what the bond market knows. I think this is why the ECB, the Central Bank of Canada, Denmark, Switzerland, Sweden, et al. Are all cutting rates. They can see the writing is on the wall. They know as well. And all that's left now, as I've been saying, is for the Bank of England to cut rates, followed by the Fed. Similar deal, right? In orange, we got the Fed funds rate. Notice the onset of a cutting cycle, recession shortly thereafter. Same again here. Okay, same again here. And at the hard right edge, looks an awful lot like we're probably going to get those cuts in the not too distant future, following in the footsteps of the blue, which of course is Europe, who, as we know, have started to cut their interest rates. And all of this will probably likely align with the onset of that recession. So an absolutely wild time to be alive. As we get into the charts, of course, not a great deal has changed since the weekend, since it is Monday morning. But the DXY is back above the support line. Okay, so dollar milkshake in play for now at least. I wonder if this is just a trap and what we get is some kind of cold CPI print on Wednesday, continuation of disinflation. That will catch the market off guard because very, very few people are actually expecting that. And then what we'll probably see is this rollover, hopefully into that 3-year cycle low, whilst we complete a blow off top. And again, it's another sign that points to the end of July, maybe August, before we can see the onset of that recession. As I've been saying over and over again, nobody wants this more than me, okay? But objectively speaking, we've still got dollar milkshake in play. we've still got a strengthening dollar, and this is deflationary bust stuff when the dollar is running with everything else, okay? Including the precious metal markets and everything else, right? Why is it? Why is it that this is occurring? Are you not concerned at all about this? I believe gold has topped for the weekly cycle, so I'm going to be interested to see if this plays out and then down here out of a weekly cycle low. Whether it's as low as that or whether it's up here, I don't really care. But from a timing component, I'm going to be looking to get the members back into some positions back at this weekly cycle low. For now, though, patiently waiting to see how this unfolds. Any breakouts that do occur will likely be faded since we're so late in the weekly cycle, but keeping a close eye on that and silver, as well as those mining positions. And the last thing I wanted to point out is the stock market due a pullback into a daily cycle low any day now. As of today's session, we will be on something like day 36. So we have officially entered the timing window to see a swing, meaning any kind of pullback and a swing is, for me, an opportunity to add exposure, move stops up, get to full exposure with the NASDAQ as well. Of course, I'll notify the members in real time with the exact levels. And then it will become a big question of, do we see the third angle come in? Do we see continuation, right? Thus giving more rise and credit and credence and merit to Raoul Paul's up only forever idea. And we also have to be open to invalidation. We find a cycle low, roll over and undercut that low, print in a failed daily cycle, and then all bets are off. Everyone's wrong, apart from those top callers. But I don't think that's the way. Like I said, I don't think that's likely. It's certainly one possibility. But the I told you so gang, the bears, the low conviction in this bull market all tell me we're going to continue to go higher until the last bear becomes a bull. That's where we can top somewhere probably significantly higher. Also note, if we do something like this third angle, I'm not saying we will, although that is my expectation, but if we do something like this, okay, then on a weekly cycle perspective, this will be a left translated weekly cycle looking for this, and then you know what we'll have, right? A big parabolic blow off top with 1, 2, 3 right translated weekly cycles, followed by a left translation on the fourth. This will be textbook stuff. I will print this out, frame it, and put it on my wall in my office because I have never seen a cleaner example, especially if this comes to fruition and we do indeed get to flip short at the top. So again, a wild time to be alive. I almost forgot about Bitcoin, but frankly, it's forgettable, isn't it? It's forgettable. We're still not doing anything. We're still sideways. Bears are wrong. Bulls are wrong because we're still trading sideways. I do think it's gradually looking more and more encouraging, and maybe if we can get a cold CPI print on Wednesday, then we can look to see this rally continue to the upside. Maybe there is one final squeeze higher as the markets front run the onset of that inevitable cutting cycle from the Fed. And of course, the inverse is true, right? Noticing the VIX is up 8%, which sets us up nicely for that pullback into the cycle low. Just look at the SPY. Yep, so that's probably the swing. Couple days of down, nice big swing, perhaps on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the CPI. And then, like I said, going to be increasing exposure, going to be getting members in, and let's send it. Let's send it for that third and final leg. I'm your boy Camel. I hope you're doing well in life. Please do go and check out the What podcast. You will enjoy that conversation. I'm convinced of that. And in the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Camel Crew, come close. It's that time again. People losing their minds, calling for the world to end. Sudden trend line break, just to spook you out. If it gets to you, maybe go fishing for some trout. Touch grass, relax, at least wait for a daily close. Keep your marbles intact, appreciate the cycle lows. Manage your risks, set stops, let time just do the rest. Meanwhile, look forward to another Camel Finance episode to distress. Ask your partner to consider your privacy. Just don't mention your love for charts, will be seen as rivalry. Devote yourself to the cycles, treat them as your muse. At some point, it will pay you back in life-changing views. Touch grass, relax, at least wait for a daily close. uncertain future. Have an open mind to be your guest. Some will win, most lose. We'll all have to respect. Just don't over-leverage yourself and get absolutely wrecked. Emotions rise on the way to every high and low. Every day a chance to let your composure grow. Create a mental, spongy, bulletproof vest. If a black swan event arises, then GG for the shorts at best. Touch grass, relax, at least wait for a daily close. Keep your marbles intact, appreciate the cycle lows. Manage your risks, that stops, let time just do the rest. Meanwhile, look forward to another Camel Finance episode to distress. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Question, remark, put a comment in the chat. Camel Finance is here to help you on your quest. Cycle theory, bigger picture, but you'll have to do the rest. Mm, 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 mm.